What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. You know, there's this, I was watching the game today, and the Mavs definitely got a little bit more loose with their offense in the fourth quarter as they started to kind of sort of make it close. Kind of one of those classic like fake comeback vibes, you know what I mean? Where a team is clearly winning by 20-ish and then suddenly they let up defensively and the other team kind of makes a little bit of a run and then the starters come back in and they kind of regain control of the game, right? So I'm watching in the early third quarter as the Nuggets are pushing it to 20. And I'm looking down and I'm like, this Dallas team is having a hell of a time scoring. And we did a lot of deep dives. So for those of you guys who didn't see the deep dives this week, we did Dallas, we did Memphis, we did Boston for deep dives. And then I think we might have done one or two more if I remember correctly. But we did a deep dive on Dallas and their offense. And at the time of the video, they were the very best offense in the league. And Luka was playing arguably better than anybody in the league. And Kyrie Irving was out during that stretch. And he's back now, right? And so you're bringing an incredibly high-powered offense into Denver. Not only that, a specifically high-powered offense that should give Denver issues, right? Because it's a pull-up shooting team, pull-up shooting guard in Kyrie Irving that will pull your pick-and-roll coverage as far out, and Luka Doncic, a matchup attacker who can pick on guys like Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray or Nikola Jokic if he chooses to, right? So in theory, they should give them a lot of problems. And I'm watching the game, and I'm like, holy shit, Michael Porter Jr. is holding up on switches against Luka really well. They are causing major frustrations for this Mavericks team on the offensive end of the floor. Then I sat down and I looked at the numbers again, and I knew they were pretty good defensively in the first few games. I think I had them at 7th after 3 or 4 games. But at the time, I in the middle of the third quarter, I pulled up the defensive ratings, and Denver's popped up to 5th in defensive rating. They are playing some really high-level defense right now, which is something that I don't think they ever did last year, aside from a few stretches in the playoffs. So, this is some really, really exciting stuff we're seeing out of Denver. It reminds me of, I saw this with the Warriors in that, 2015, 2016 stretch, where it kind of seemed like they were almost addicted to winning, where, even though they've already won a title, even though they're already in commanding position in the standings, even though there's no real importance to the night-to-night games, they just kind of seemed like they were addicted to winning basketball games. And so they kept outplaying teams that were more desperate than them. And it kind of became a cultural thing that is still stuck around in Golden State to this day. And I'm kind of starting to get that vibe from this Denver Nuggets team. Every individual player, regardless of their role, is super bought in. Michael Porter Jr. is a super skilled offensive player who is operating in a smaller role, right? But this is a dude that is sliding his feet and bothering Luka Doncic. He's kind of become a really good help and recover guy. There were several possessions today where he was able to get into the lane and dig down and bother a ball handler and then close out. And because he's got such great length, he can really bother a three-point shooter on a closeout. He had a couple on Grant Williams that he really bothered him. And so, you got Aaron Gordon, who's totally embraced this perimeter stopper role mixed with post mismatch attacking, mixed with running the floor in transition and operating on that back line. Jamal Murray has played an all-star to start this season. Peyton Watson has been a revelation on both ends of the floor as a switch defender. He's knocking down his three-point shot. He's a devastating transition weapon. He's this team is clicking at a level that doesn't actually make sense given their level of urgency. And again, I know they had, a random couple of weeks here or there last season where they defend well, but for the most part, it wasn't a cultural thing for that team. They came out the gates defending poorly, and they finished the season defending poorly. This year, from day one, they seem to be so much more locked in and engaged in those specific details. And when you combine that with them being the most unguardable offense in the NBA, it makes them terrifying. And they look clearly like the championship favorite at this point. I think they're going to win this midseason tournament. Nikola Jokic can get 25 to 30 points without ever really having to take a shot that's difficult for him. The toughest shot he took tonight was a catch and shoot 3 at the end of halftime or right before the end of the first half, where he had to like kind of pivot into a three on the move. And Jokic was fired up. It was like one of the more, you don't see him be very demonstrative from time to time, but he was super demonstrative in this particular after the shot, screaming to himself. It was like a moment for himself that he was stoked that he made the shot. But it's like, aside from that, which was a bailout shot at the end of the clock, like it's all easy stuff that he's going to make a lot of the time. That's how we like the ability to get 25 to 30 points without ever really having to go off script on offense and just basically be the fulcrum. But all the shots you get in the offense are shots he can make at a 65, 70% clip. So you keep looking up and it's like, oh, once again, Jokic, 12 for 14 from the field. And you're like, what the hell are we doing here, man? This team is just clicking at a higher level than anybody else in the league right now. I know Boston's winning by a lot, but I just can never trust that team until I see them execute in the half court in the late phases of the playoffs. And they just feel like the safest bet right now. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. And with DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at an even bigger basketball win. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code HOOPS. That's HOOPS. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code HOOPS. The crown is yours.
Don't miss the action this weekend when the NFL heads to Germany for the Frankfurt games. These games will air on the NFL Network. I'll be watching and stream on NFL Plus. Again, streaming on NFL Plus. For a limited time, Verizon customers can get Netflix Plus, NFL Plus for just $25 a month with Plus Play. That's $120 in annual savings. Plus Play is a platform where Verizon customers can shop, manage, and save on the subscriptions you already have, like NFL Plus. With NFL Plus Premium, you get access to games on mobile, NFL Red Zone, NFL Network, which means you can catch the Frankfurt games and more. Just go to verizon.com/NFL. Save before the games. $120 you can save annually. Hurry, this offer ends soon.
On the Dallas front, it really is this simple to me. Your transition defense was trash. That's ridiculous. You're too fast to get outrun up and down the floor by that Nuggets team. That was a lot of it was Luka. Luka kept making bad plays on offense and then bitching to the refs instead of running back. And you got to be great offensively to ever even have a chance against this Denver team. Like for 2.5 quarters, they pretty much held you in check, and you're not good enough defensively or on the glass to be able to hang with a team like Denver if you can't score at the rate you're capable of scoring. It was a problem that Luka was picking on Michael Porter Jr. and couldn't get the defense into rotation. It was a significant problem throughout the game. Kyrie played pretty well, just couldn't hit his three-point shot. Again, one of the consistent themes in this game is like they have some dirty work guys that compete. They have guys that are trying their best to hold down the defense and rebounding areas of the game. Guys like Josh Green, guys like Grant Williams, guys like Derek Lively. But like still, it just felt like every time Denver missed a shot, there was Michael Porter Jr. for an offensive rebound. There was Aaron Gordon for an offensive rebound. When they were making their run there in the early fourth quarter, it was like back-to-back plays where like they just couldn't keep Aaron Gordon off the glass. And like that's the thing is like that there's levels to this shit, right? And like Dallas looks pretty good. They look like a great offense. They look like they've improved rebounding. They're better on defense than you would have expected them to be, and certainly a lot better than they were last year. But like the problem is like Denver also has an unguardable offense, except for they're also an outstanding rebounding team, and this season have been an outstanding defensive team. And that just goes to show you that like as good of a job as they've done to try to kind of reconfigure this roster around Luka and Kyrie, like there's still a whole other level they need to get to be able to compete with the top teams in the league. But again, they've been awesome through 4 games, so I don't want to overreact to one game. I was a little disappointed in Luka Doncic tonight, though. I thought that he would have done a better job picking apart that Denver Nuggets offense.